it's Sandra! Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now, below this video. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we go along if you'll find the content useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form, or you just want to give this channel some like love. In a moment, I'm going to be answering a viewer's question, which is, what is the difference between an aesthetic crush and an aromatic squish? Is that right? Let me read out their question. Aesthetic crush versus aromatic squish. Yeah, I got that right. I'm going to be answering that shortly. But if you didn't know who I am Sandra Burnley, author of Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. And I'm also the author of this awesome fibromyalgia self-help handbook, How to Manage Fibromyalgia to Have Less Pain, More Energy and Feel Happier Like a Superhero Rock Star. Let's get on with the show. So yeah, I had one of my friends who's also a viewer ask me, Sandra, what is the difference between an aesthetic crush and an aromatic squish? Well, as you probably know from watching this channel, I identify as a hetero romantic asexual, which means I'm attracted romantically to guys. So I'm not actually on the aromantic spectrum at all. I'm the opposite of an aromantic. So I did have to do some research for this, and the reason why is I don't actually ever experience crushes or squishes. So it's something that's very different from my own personal being. And obviously, I'm not an expert in this particular part of aromanticism and asexuality. From the research I've done, though, and I've had part of it confirmed by my best friend who does experience crushes, aesthetic crush is someone who gets attracted to someone aesthetically. So they could just see a picture of them and they'll be, oh, hi Liam, great to see you, Sandra, you look always beautiful. Oh, thank you, lots of love to you, lots of love. Actually, you're on the aromantic spectrum, aren't you? So if I get this wrong, you can correct me, because this kind of like part of it is to do with aromanticism. So, but from what I've done for my research, an aesthetic crush is literally when you see someone and you are attracted to them because of their aesthetics. But in terms of a crush, rather than it being just aesthetic attraction per se, aesthetic crush is when it's usually shorter lived, and it's usually someone who's like a pop star, a film star, someone who you can't reach. That's classed as an aesthetic crush, which my best friend Sam, they have aesthetic crushes a lot of the time, like all the time, they'd probably say. And I did speak to them about this, and they said, yeah, that's exactly right. They'll see someone, they think, oh my goodness me, you know, they'll get instantly attracted to them because of the way they look. They don't base all their attractions on looks, though. They you know, but the point is with the aesthetic crush, they don't actually want to be in a relationship with that person, but they're attracted to them aesthetically, but they wouldn't want to actually be in a relationship with them until they got to know them better, if they were suitable. So the fact that they have aesthetic crush doesn't mean to say they actually want a relationship with that person, but they instantly feel attraction for that person because of their aesthetics, the way they look, their appearance, their hair, eyes, face, the way they look, basically, right? Whereas an aromatic squish is the equivalent of a crush, but from what I understand with an aromatic squish, it's actually the person wants to be in a queer platonic relationship, usually with that person. So a squish is like a permanent crush, and they want to be in a relationship with a queer platonic relationship, not a romantic relationship, a queer platonic relationship, usually with that person, like have a long committed queer platonic relationship. So an aesthetic crush is more temporary, or it's someone that's out of reach, and it's someone that the person wouldn't necessarily want to be in a relationship just based on the fact of their aesthetic looks. But whereas a squish, an aromantic squish we're talking about in this instance, that means they want to be in a relationship, usually a queer platonic relationship. Never had any sort of crush, aesthetics or otherwise. Thank you, Liam. Yes, so a lot of the time crushes are related to romantic asexuals, whereas squishers are related to aromantic asexuals. So a squish is the equivalent of a aromantic squish is the equivalent of a romantic crush, but from what I understand, a squish is often the person actually wants a queer platonic relationship with that person, from what I understand. Now, if there's any aromantics watching that know about squishers far more than I do, then please feel free to leave down, jump in the chat or go in the comments. I did find something on various sites. So they said on Avon, someone said a squish is an aromantic crush, a desire for a strong platonic relationship with someone. From my research, what I found is they actually would want to be in a long-term committed relationship with a squish rather than so crush is a romantic attraction to someone, a desire for a romantic relationship of some kind, a desire that is possibly temporary in nature, possibly never to be acted upon. So that's how they define, well, that's how someone defines it on Avon. But there's a whole post about crush versus squish on Avon, which is March the 24th, 2018. And this person's really confused about what the difference is between a crush and a squish. So I think, it'd be very interesting to obviously do research if you want to know more about it. So basically, I mean, this person says the difference between squishes and crushes is infuriating. It took me forever to try and sort it out. In the end, a couple of things helped me sort it out before we were in a QPR. I talked to my not yet QPP about their crushes, and I realised how different the feeling was. And a couple of internet sources, the most useful of them were these. It's most like a crush if you want to kiss them, but not necessarily. I'm indifferent. Some people are repulsed. Some people like it. If you get jealous of them in a romantic situation, that can be explained by things like losing time with that person, like me, and wanting to be in an expressly romantic relationship. It's probably more of a squish if you can't tell the difference. Seriously, one of the most notable indicators of an aromantic is simply not being able to see the difference, and a QPR sounds more appealing. Also, if romantic expectations make you uneasy, you might have a weird conflict of liking the idea of a romantic relationship and then feeling guilty because you feel like you don't really fit there doing things of kind of romantic things. I mean, it's in the middle of a conversation about different things, so reading this out of context is a bit like, it's a bit like when you play ball and you're not actually fully in the game, if you know what I mean. So there's a whole post about it. So I'm sure that more people can look it up. But this is when I looked at a lot of online publications, like different magazines and stuff, articles, that's what it basically said. From what I understand, is the crush is more temporary. It's usually someone out of reach. It's but not necessarily. There was one article that said a crush can go on for 10 years, but the average crush is usually 4 months. So some people can have crushes for years. My best friend, they have a major crush on Harry Styles. They absolutely love Harry Styles. So but they said they couldn't have a relationship with them unless they knew them better and if it would work. So yeah, they've had a crush on them for absolute years. So for me, I don't experience any crushes or any squishes, nothing like that. So for me, I don't experience any platonic attraction whatsoever. So that's very, very unusual and different for an asexual person. So for example, with me, I usually have some attraction to all my close friends who are male or look male to me. They're basically either male or they were born male in body, but they might identify as non-binary, for example. So for example, my bestest friend, I have aesthetic attraction for them, but not romantic. And then my other best friend, I have romantic attraction for them, but not so much aesthetic. So it's kind of like strange, really. But they're just used to me. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just used to me. So I just talk to my friends like, and tell them, because for me, I am a, oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I'm a hyper romantic, so I don't have any platonic attraction whatsoever. So I don't have crushes or squishes. That's why it's hard for me to talk about this, because I don't experience either of them. Like, if I experience aesthetic attraction as opposed to an aesthetic crush, which I think is very important to discuss, if I experience aesthetic attraction, which I do, I usually experience aesthetic attraction, and most of the time, romantic and aesthetic go together. So, for example, if I see a foreign guy, particularly Indian, as you know, I'm very in favour of Indians. I get a lot of Indian guys watching this. So hello to all the Indian guy fans out there. If I see an Indian guy who I find very attractive, like aesthetically, I've only just started texting him like two messages or something. I could instantly want a relationship with him, even though I don't know him. That's how bad it is for me. That's how hyper romantic and unplatonic it is. I jump straight over that. It's like there's no platonicness whatsoever. I jump straight for, hello, I didn't know who you are. Oh, you sent me a few messages. Now I want a relationship with you, in my romantic feelings and thoughts and desires. Do you know what I mean? Even though I stop myself these days, I'm like, no, Sandra. And I try and hold back so I don't have any love feelings instantly. I used to have almost instant love feelings, which is very strange, I know, but it's true. Like, I used to fall in love so easily, and it used to be really heartbreaking for me, really heart-wrenching, and it used to be really difficult for me. But now I've managed to control that somehow to a certain extent, so I don't feel, I still have really strong attraction. I still desire to be in a romantic relationship in the romantic part of me, but the practical and logical side, thank God, usually takes over most of the time. Not all the time, most of the time. But yeah, so that's the difference. So with my best friend Sam, who experiences an aesthetic crush, they don't actually want to get straight into a relationship with them. They like them aesthetically. They find them really aesthetically attractive. They can't stop kind of thinking about them sometimes. Whereas but they are romantic as well, and I'm romantic. But with me, if I have aesthetic attraction, it's not a crush. It's definitely like, I would like to be in a relationship with you, like pretty much straight away, just based on the person's looks and a few little conversations I've had with them, little messages. I mean, it's crazy, right? I'm well aware that I'm not going to get into a relationship like that. So I've had to really, over this asexual journey, which if you follow this channel since 2015, you'll know I've had a lot of difficulties with that. My hyper romanticism can get very, very out of control, and it's very painful. It's not good. And so I've learned to control that a lot more. It's hard trying to control feelings though, and emotions. It's very difficult. I've had to try and distance, so that when I do have aesthetic attraction and usually instant romantic feelings, most of the time go together. I mean, luckily, I guess for my best friends, they don't go together, which is good for me. Although, the guy I feel romantic feelings for, I do think he's quite cute sometimes. But, he won't mind me saying that. But I have more aesthetic attraction with my bestest friend, if you know what I mean. So I'm kind of like aesthetic attracted to one of them, romantic attracted to the other, but not romantically attracted to that one, and not so aesthetic attracted to that person. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like weird. But I'm glad it's like that, because if I had aesthetic romantic attraction for either one of them, both of them, I would be in trouble. It wouldn't be very good for me. You deserve the relationship you want. Oh, thank you, Liam. It was so sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah. So so for me, I just don't experience any platonic attraction whatsoever. Sam, yeah, I get lots of crushes, but it takes me ages to truly want a relationship with a person. Oh, you've been listening. One of them appears, my best friend. Yay! Yes, Sam knows I'm aesthetically attracted to them. And the other person, who's my best friend, knows I'm romantically attracted to them. And they just like, oh, well, it's Sandra. Well, I think it's nice for them in some ways, because they know, oh, I am attractive, which does help them out. So I'm not completely not helping them. But yeah, so that's really good, Sam, that you said that. Yeah. So and for what I understand, a squish is like something usually mostly associated with aromatics. But I did read that it's not exclusive for aromantics though. So, you know, there's kind of a lot of advice out there, and, you know, you kind of got to keep reading through it if you're unsure about crushes and squishes. Like I said, the person on asexuality.org, who is actually now in a queer platonic relationship, they took ages to understand the difference between crush and squish. So asking me this question, it was a difficult question, I admit. It was a very difficult question, not because of the aesthetic bit, but because of obviously the difference between a crush and a squish. Because for me personally, I don't have a clue what those mean personally, because I don't experience any of them. I'm just like straight jump into, yeah, I would like to be in a relationship with him. I mean, I don't think that so much now. I do from a romantic, hyper romantic point of view, but from a sensible, logical, headed point of view, I'm better than I used to be. So instead of thinking I definitely want a relationship with a person, it's more like I'm on my guard more. I'm guarding my heart more and trying to use my logic more. And if a guy's not suitable for me very soon on, then I have to say goodbye to him. But I move on. That's the difference as well. With me, I can't usually stay. Oh, hi, Eddie. Eddie, if you don't know, Eddie's in the chat, and Eddie's not asexual. So he's asking, what is a squish? Is that like a juice? No, Eddie, we must be respectful, right? So I was explaining that a squish is usually something aromantics get when they want to be, when they're interested in being in a queer platonic relationship. They strongly, strongly desire to be in a queer platonic relationship or a platonic relationship with that person. So that's what a squish is. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought many sexuals really understand crushes and squishes, because when I've been in heterosexual relationships for like half of my life, I've heard of the word crush, but I've never heard of the word squish. But I've never experienced that. So yeah, so for me, it's never ever that way, you know. Like some people are like, oh, you can't just fall in love with someone. I used to get that. I used to get really terribly, like falling in love constantly. So when people say it's impossible, it's not. Actually, I've known people, even in my own family. My mum's dad, when he was on planet Earth, married my mum's mum very, very quickly. You know, I think they were engaged within 3 weeks or something, married within 3 months, something like that, my mum said. So that was very, very quick. The only reason, you know, it's just that one of them, you know, left planet Earth. Her mum left planet Earth earlier than her dad. So that's the only reason, you know. Well, anyway, moving on. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so that's why for me, I don't have experience any crushes, because for me, nothing's temporary. Like I, for example, had feelings for an actor for a couple of years, right? Whilst I was at school. I still like that actor today, you know, but he's a director now. But for me, I never think about someone being out of reach. Like if it's a pop star or someone I really, really want to be in a relationship with, I would always think there's a way. I would never think that it was impossible. Like if I really wanted it that badly, you know, I think anything's possible. And if I love someone, or if I have feelings for someone, if I'm attracted to someone in a way, if I don't speak to them for like years of my life, then all of a sudden they come back into my life, I usually have exactly the same feelings for them as I did 3-4 years ago, which is why I make sure that I don't have anything to do with my abusive exes. Nothing to do with them whatsoever. I will not speak to them if they come near me. I won't have anything to do with them, because for me, I don't have any temporary feelings. Like literally, I could like some, you know, I know some people that have come and been out of my life for 3 years. As soon as they come back in, instantly, exactly the same feelings. It's never gone away. So that is kind of really, really hard to deal with. You know, you can imagine if I have a lot of feelings, a lot of attractions going on, different types of attractions, spiritual, romantic, aesthetic in my case, close attraction, sensual attraction, creative attraction, intelligence attraction, all those. And you can imagine, like, sometimes I have all of those different ones for different people. Guys, not women. I'm only attracted to guys or people that look like guys to me. You know what I mean by look like guys? They're male. They were born male. not women who look like guys usually, although there was one trans guy that was Indian trans guy. And there's also I've got a trans friend as well who's a guy, trans guy friend as well. They look attractive as well. They're aesthetically attractive. But yeah, it's usually always guys. You know, never women. I have to say that. Yeah, so definitely. So you know, I don't experience any platonicness whatsoever, any platonic attraction. So it gets kind of crazy, and you can imagine like a damage a person theoretically could do if they come back into my life and they've been bad. However, you might be wondering, because I've asked myself, like, okay, Sandra, so the people that are really bad in your life, that abusive, you don't have anything more to do with, how do you stop feeling anything for them? Because I asked myself this question because I was thinking about doing this stream, and the way I deal with it is I end up disliking them, either hating them or disliking them strongly. And hate's not a good thing to do, right? I don't think going around hating people is a good thing, right? My first long-term ex, I do actually hate him, and but I don't let it rule my life. I have feelings of hate for him, not like probably really strong feelings. I don't want to take revenge or do anything like that. I don't want to be in his life. The reason I hate him is because he didn't really love me at all, diddly squat, and he was abusive, and you know, I don't think he loved me at all. I don't think he ever cared about me. Whereas the last long-term ex, I think in his own psychotic way, he did actually have some feelings for me. And with him, I don't hate him, but I strongly, strongly hate what he did and dislike him a lot. Because I've learned to kind of like that hate's not a good thing to harbour. So I kind of like, and I think he genuinely did have some feelings, but he's a very, very abusive, specifically mentally and emotionally guy with a partner, not with his friends. And so yeah, so you know, so that's what I do. The feelings turned around to one of either hatred or really, really strongly disliking, to the point of just before hating that person. So it's just like I can't feel stuff, but like I said, I won't let myself get into any, you know, talking or anything like that with them. I have to stay completely away, because I know how they can try and manipulate into my mind and feelings. So I stay clear of those people. And if then, you know, if there's anyone watching, like, you know, that's in a predicament, they're like, oh, I've got a really abusive ex, but you know, sometimes he's nice to me, sometimes he's not, and I'm still in my life, cut off. Please cut off from these people. They will never change, believe me. I was with my last long-term ex, I was with 1.5 years. Then I actually was split up with him 6 months. I got back together with him for 7 years. 3 weeks he was great. The rest of the time he's worse than the first 1.5 years, and I stayed, and I shouldn't have done. But I'm out of that now, you know. I'm free, which is amazing. I love being free and single now. It's really bliss, you know. So it's very, very difficult, you know. But I don't like any of my exes. The only ex, well, I don't like any of my exes unless you class the one person that I had like was a boyfriend for one night. Then you could say that I like him as a friend. Because we went on to be friends. I just couldn't be with him. I kissed him once and it was like I met him at his mum had a party and I met him there, and yeah, he became my boyfriend. Then we had a date and he was asking me away to go away with him to like France or Paris for the weekend, and I didn't even know this person. I knew his mum but not him. And I'm like, oh my God, no. And I didn't know I was asexual back then, but I didn't want to have sex. And I knew that a guy asking me to go away for a weekend when he didn't know me was after sex. So even back then, this is when, how old was I? Oh, I was a teenager in birth certificate age. So even back then, if I look back then at my life when I was, you know, when I was in that position, then you know, I know that I was asexual back then, because I just was. As soon as he said about going away for a weekend, I knew it meant sex. I know that any guy who asks you, the sexual guy that asks you to go away for a weekend, it usually means sex, right? That's what's on their mind. That's what they take you away for. Have a great weekend and they expect sex. It's horrible. It really is horrible. It's like why should I have sex because I'm going away with you? How is that a treat? Might be a treat for you, but ain't a bloody treat for me, mate. Excuse my language. Do you know what I mean? It's like I just want to go and chill, relax, go to theme parks, zoos, aquariums, have a nice time and snog. I don't want to have sex. Thank you very much. But anyway, so yeah, so and he kissed like a lizard. You know, I love kissing. I don't know if I've told you before, but I can tell if a guy's going to be at all suitable for me to be in a relationship or stay in a relationship with him just by kissing him once. Like, if he's got potential. I'm not saying he has to be the perfect kisser or always kissing I really totally like at first, but I know it's got potential. I know with a bit of training from me, obviously, I know it can be fine. But this guy, he kissed me and it was just like a lizard and it was absolutely disgusting. And I knew that I could only be friends with this guy, that I was always meant to be just friends with him because it was just so disgusting. It was like, so I love kissing, but I didn't like kissing him. So I do have some people I don't like kissing, and they usually, if I kiss a guy and that happens, it means, God, you were meant to only just be his friend. You don't feel that way with him. You're only supposed to be his mate, not anything more. And so as soon as like that, he phoned me up or something, and I'm like, I just can't be in a relationship with you. Or I can't remember if I phoned him or he phoned me. I think he phoned me. And then he's like, oh, if you want to find someone if you want someone who loves you, like, phone me back or something, or phone, you know where I am, I think he said, and put the phone down. But then we became friends a little while after that. We used to hang out together. I think he always must have had feelings like we were going to get back together or something, maybe, because later on, he used to have a hotel and I went to stay at it in a separate room. And he said something suggestive to me in the morning. I'm like, well, I'm not that type of girl. And he's like, oh, I know you're not. And later on, he said to me, because later on, he said to me when we happened to meet in my work, actually, he wasn't working in my way at work. He was just paying a visit to the admin office. He goes, oh, I always knew you were asexual because of that time I invited you away for the weekend and you said no. I knew you were different in that respect. All right, well, you could have told me. Do you know what I mean? It would have saved me lots of years of heartache and pain, probably. Liam, you have been through a lot. Those people you were in an abusive relationship with, I've lost a beautiful, intelligent sweetheart. Oh, thank you, Liam. It was so lovely. I always love you being in chat. You make me feel so sweet. You make me feel beautiful by saying I'm beautiful. It's really nice. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, it's really sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, yeah, I got to be very careful. So I'm very aware that I can get attracted to the wrong types of guys. I attract the wrong types of guys, the highly sexual guys usually. Very highly sexual guys that attract. What's I want it all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so it is difficult sometimes, So, that's why I just don't experience crushes or squishes. And if I say I love someone, it usually even if it like the film star, the actor from years ago, I still have feelings for him. Like, if I look at him, I still think he's beautiful, gorgeous, but he's married with kids now anyway, so he's out of my reach. So that was about that, because I don't go after married men. I'm not interested. I don't get attracted usually. I don't think I've ever been attracted to a married man. Well, actually, I'm trying to think now. Actually, there was one guy I didn't know he was married at the time. Aesthetically, he was very attractive. And we became friends, but I would never actually be in obviously a relationship or have a snogging affair or something with a guy who's married. I don't get that way, Usually, as soon as I know they're married, they're out of limits. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think I was trying to make myself think now, have I ever been attracted to someone married? But I guess I don't know someone's married, beautiful person inside out. Oh, thank you, Liam. You're so sweet. Lots of love. But yeah, so I think it's very tough for someone who's hyper romantic like me. I don't think it's an easy ride. In some ways, I think it's better not to be romantic like me, because it's very difficult sometimes. It can be a lot of drama in your life, just as Aromantics point out. Usually, in my Asexual Perspectives book, this book here, they do point stuff out like this, like, that they're free of the drama of romantic relationships and stuff. I've been very good though recently. I've been focusing more on my career and more on my business stuff overall, like mingle2.com, which I told you is not an asexual dating site that I sign up for. I have not been back on that. And it is hard because I see the emails go, oh, this guy wants to meet you, even though I know they're sexual, which does put me off anyway, thank goodness. But it's kind of like, it's difficult because being a hyper romantic, and I would, you know, a huge part of me would like to find someone suitable to be in a relationship with. And it kind of makes you a bit pedantic or a bit kind of obsessed sometimes with getting, you know, going on these dating sites trying to find the right person. But you know, the sexual dating sites usually aren't the right place to find these people. But you never know. Asexuals are hiding on some sexual dating sites, but that's the trouble. A lot of them are hiding. I don't want to hide. I want someone who's proud to be asexual, like I am. You know, Eddie. I was attracted to a married girl. Oh, were you? By that, I'm guessing you mean that you actually wanted a relationship with this person. So yeah, I mean, I can only remember distinctly one time there was a guy that I was aesthetically attracted to long ago. Yeah, but we became really good friends actually. Me and the person who, but I didn't know they're married at first, and then I knew, and I would never do anything like that. Oh, you were silly, were you? Oh, you did something you shouldn't do with a married woman, did you, or married girl? Yeah, there's quite I see some people, I don't know where it is, dating sites or forums, and there's quite a lot of married women having affairs and stuff. I'm like, really? And the thing that really gets me, right, is a lot of women say there are a lot of bad guys out there, right? Cheaters and players, right? I'm not being funny, but in the defense of guys, or in the other side of the equation, right? Which I do agree, there's lots of cheaters and there's lots of players. I do agree, but don't forget, every time they cheat, usually, if it's a heterosexual guy, it's usually a woman they cheat with. So the woman's actually enabled them to cheat. So the woman's really just as bad as they are because they're like, know that person in a relationship. Obviously, if the woman doesn't know they're in a relationship with another woman, that's different. Because I know some guys, they lie about it, hide it, and cover it up. So that's not the woman's fault then. You know, they're innocent in that. But there are some women that do full on know that that person's in a relationship. Quite a few of them. And so, you know, they, you know, not only is a guy being a player and a cheat, so is the woman enabling that, which is disgusting. So I just wanted to say that not all women are great as well, you know, because I am female and I just want to say that. I don't want people to just think it's guys that aren't good. You have to be careful of that. Eddie, she grasped onto me because her hubby gave her little attention, but in the end she stayed with him and I was free to continue my hunting. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the woman should speak to the guy and openly communicate with him that he's not giving her attention, and then if it doesn't work out, eventually split up with him, isn't it? But a lot of the time, I think that the reason people, well, there's several reasons people cheat, isn't there? We know, like I've said before from my research, communication is the number one reason why people split up, not sex. Another one is actually money worries, believe it or not, bills, money worries, and then obviously sex as well. So, but you know, I often find that people that are looking outside of their relationship is because that something in it's lacking, and instead of fixing the problem and talking to the person concerned and trying to work it out, they'd rather just like, you know, escape from it and not face the truth. They lived on a base. I hear they were doing spouse swapping. They lived on a base. Oh, where's their partner army then, or navy, that type of thing? Because I know a lot of women who are married to those type of guys, like, don't really get. Yeah, right. Yeah, there's also like a lot of people say there's bored housewives, don't they, and that they have affairs. But you know, I don't like that type of thing at all. You know, I mean, for me personally, I just, because I can't find a good guy for me, I just think, well, I'd rather stay single forever. Do you know what I mean? Um, because there's absolutely no point in being with the wrong person. Like, I'll go out to club. I've decided, you know, I'll go out to club and still kiss foreign guys. Why not? They're aesthetically attractive, but there's no point in being in a relationship with those guys or thinking about it. I mean, obviously, I'm going to think about it. I do still hold out hope, actually, when I go to the club that I'll find a decent guy there. I don't know why. It's a romantic, hyper romantic side of me coming out, and the idealism side, like maybe, just maybe, but there might be, it's true, there might be someone who there might be someone, you know, out there at the club for me, who's, you know, who's basically you know, with his friends or something, not really usually going to there, and I get talking to him. You never know. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's better to keep your options open. But yeah, I do like snogging, so I'm just gonna, you know, when it all this is over and it's really much safer to be out, and I'll go clubbing, kiss some foreign guys, enjoy a good snog, and then that's about it. Because you know, I can't see me actually being in a relationship for a very long time. And these guys mostly at the clubs, they're only into sex. I'm not into sex, I just like kissing. But yeah, I mean, I'd love it if my Indian soulmate turned up. He probably will eventually. But you know, I haven't met him yet. I haven't met a strong enough Indian guy for me. Someone who actually is in the UK for a start would help. You know what I mean? And someone who admits that he likes an older girl, because there's a lot of Indian guys who like older women, or well, me anyway. But I don't act older. I don't act my age, birth certificate age, that is. At my mindset age, and my lifestyle age is awesome. And so you know, there are some guys who like older women and they really want them to act like an older woman, and I'm like, I just don't. So I don't live up to their expectations at all in that respect. But you know, there's quite a lot of young foreign guys, particularly Indian, who do like older girls, or particularly like me, and they wouldn't even admit that to a family, not even out about being asexual. You know what I mean? They wouldn't want to be with me because obviously I do this channel as well. I'm very out about being asexual. They kind of like their privacy and all that, which is fine, but it's just not the right person for me. You know, I need a guy who's like, probably, the thing is sexual guys are more, you know, like, I don't want to be really with a sexual guy. I want to be with an asexual guy, but sexual guys don't seem to care. You know, they don't care that I'm asexual. Like, they'll still be in public with me, and they'll be like, you know, because she's a gorgeous girl, they don't really care about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And they don't worry about what people think, and they really love older women and not ashamed to kind of like be with one. Do you know what I mean? Which is just, it just disappoints me that asexual guys are like that. Really, it's like, why do you hide yourself and pretend to be basically heterosexual? Why? It's just like not who you are, you know? But they like to keep a straight image, really, and everyone thinks that they're heterosexual, and it's kind of like crazy. It's like, it's not being true to who they are, and it's like, you know, it doesn't do anything for asexuals. You know, it doesn't help the asexual community. It's like, you're not doing yourself any favors by keeping it secret, because you're not helping asexuality get recognized and taken seriously as a sexual orientation around the globe, you know? Like, I need a strong Indian guy who's going to be like, yep, this is my girl. You know, if she don't want marriage, I'm cool with that. I don't want kids either. My parents will just have to understand that. You know, as long as I've got a good girl for me, they'll be cool with it. They know I'm independent anyway. You know, they'll be fine with me doing a YouTube show. They'll be really supportive. They'll be, you know, they'll be actually really loving the fact I'm intelligent and actually use my brain and help people. You know. So I presume he'll already be in the UK, someone who's westernized. Oh, Marcelo, hi, how are you? Lots of love for you. It's nice that I saw you on the channel. Come back on the channel. I haven't seen you for a while. It's really nice to see you. I'm not sure what you say, because apart from night, I know it's something night, but I only speak English, so I'm not quite sure what you say. I have to usually get a translator, and I can't do that when I'm live. But I think something says night. Something night to you. Good night to you all. Good night to you all. Oh, thank you. That's really nice. It's nice to see you back on my channel, because I know you used to be on this channel like, how many years ago was it? 3 or 4 or something? Just proves how long I've been doing this channel for, doesn't it? It's really nice to see you. I hope things are good with you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I saw you pop up recently. It's lovely. Really, really nice. Really appreciate being here. Lots of love and hugs. I hope you're okay with the great things that are going on in the world at the moment. Yeah, I hope you're wonderful. But yeah, so it's really important that people understand that people just have different types of attractions. Some people have them very, very strongly. Some people have them weakly. You know, some people do kind of have this love at first sight. Some people believe in soulmates, other people don't. You know, I really believe in soulmates. It is something I fundamentally believe in to the core, you know, and you know, I have an Indian guy friend, right, who I've been friends with for a very, very long time online. I think it's like 3 or 4 years. I think it's getting on for 4 years. I've been very, you know, and we do have like a bond. You know, we do have a bond, you know, and I've known him for a very long time, like I said, and he's not asexual, but I think he could possibly have an asexual relationship because he's quite spiritual. And you know, when I first met him, he was really into girls and stuff, but since then he seems to be not that bothered about relationship whatsoever. I haven't even known him to be in a relationship. Whether he's in one or not, I don't know. As far as I know, he's single. Um, but you know, I was saying to him the other day, you know, like sometimes I'm video chat with him and I say I've got an Indian soulmate, I know it, and he's like, oh well, you know, it's me. Like you're probably looking at him, and I'm like, and then one day on my Facebook profile, he put, oh, I don't believe in soulmates. I just think, well, like all is one, and it's like it really hurt me to be perfectly honest with you, because I'm like, that's not what you've said on video chat with me. You said on video chat, oh, you know, basically that he's probably, you know, that he is probably my soulmate. And then I said to him the other day in a message, I said, I will be honest, I've thought about me and you being together, but in a romantic way. But, you know, you're in India. I'm never going to meet you. And also, even if it was possible and you were over here, I said, you don't believe in soulmates. I said, in order to have a relationship, a soulmate relationship, the other person has to actually believe in soulmates. So I told him straight that you can't be my soulmate. You know, that I haven't met this guy yet, but I'm looking forward to when I do, and that I know that he's going to marry an Indian girl, and I'll be very pleased for him, and I'll be his biggest cheerleader, and I hope to hear about it, you know, someday. But I wanted to set him straight. Thanks for the thumbs up, lots of love. But I wanted to set him straight, you know. It was difficult for me saying that. I do have feelings for him. I got quite upset when I said that because it's kind of like putting like the finality on it. But you know, like I don't really know the guy, and I did explain that I need someone who I'm deeply connected to, who will show, you know, who will basically speak to me about anything and everything in life, who will share all these secrets. This is the type of friendship I have. I have a really awesome friendship with Sam, as you know, and Sam, me, and Andy, we share secrets, and you know, there's nothing kind of off limits, you know, and I feel really, really strongly connected to them, even if it's not romantic relationship way, you know. And so I don't want anything less in a relationship, a romantic relationship with an Indian guy than what I've got with my best friends. I don't want to go backwards. I don't want less. I deserve that much at least, you know. And so once you've already got that and you've established that and it's really strong with others, then you know that you can have it. It's attainable. And then that's what you want, you know. There's no way I want to be with an Indian guy who doesn't speak to me, who, as much as I like Indian guys, who doesn't speak to me that much. I mean, you know, the only way I have of communicating with this guy is through Facebook. If he liked me that much, if he really, truly liked me, and sometimes he talks about love and stuff, if that were true, then he'd be like, here's my email, here's my Skype, here's this, that, and the other, and doing whatever he could to keep in contact with me, especially at this time when things are going off in the world. Do you know what I mean? They'd be doing whatever they can to have other means of speaking to me if they really feel strongly for me, like they say they do. It's really weird though, because when I was with that British guy, briefly in a relationship last year, they were saying stuff to me like, oh, you know, I'll always have a place for you in my heart and all the rest of it. And it was like all the stuff that they wrote in the text message on Facebook was just like someone write if they were totally in love with someone. It was really weird. And it was like I was completely leaving them, but my heart, their heart will still be with me and everything else. And they'll always feel like this way about me. And it's really weird. And they've expressed love for me in words before, but like we know, words are not the same as actions, you know. If that person can only connect with me on Facebook, I have no other way of getting in contact with them, then clearly if Facebook went down, that'd be the end of that, wouldn't it? I'd never speak to them again because I don't have any other way of contacting them. So, and they were obviously not that bothered. Someone who's really bothered about you, who really cares and loves you and wants you to be in their life, will make damn sure that you're in their life each and every way, you know. If something goes down, you know, like I've got I've got Sam and Andy, who are my best friends. I've got their email addresses as well. So if anything goes down on Facebook, and their phone numbers. So if anything happens on Facebook or anything like that, I'm still connected to them in other ways. Do you know what I mean? So it's very, very, very important, you know, if someone's saying, oh, I love you, but they've just got one way of connecting with you and basically they could block you at any single time. on social media. That's not very reliable. That's not very trustworthy. That's not very loving or caring. It's basically saying, well, yeah, I'll have you when I want you. Sam, yeah, and several other methods. Exactly. Yeah, Twitter, Skype. I don't know what else I haven't. Oh, yeah, yeah. Got several other methods. Yeah, it's really good, Post as well. Yeah. So, that's what people do when they really love and care about you. Even friends do that. Oh, sorry. So, I think it's really important that if you do have anyone talking about love and saying it, maybe they do in their own way, maybe they have some love feelings in their own way, but it's not that strong, everlasting, do anything for you love, really deep love. Because when someone's really in love with you and really wants you in their life, they make damn well sure that you'll always be in their life, which and they don't want you out of their life, and they'll connect with you and communicate you regularly. I was saying to him in this message, I said to him that it wouldn't be enough for me. The type of relationship that you want, where you just speak to someone occasionally and then you expect that to be okay because of the bond. I said, that's not a deep enough bond for me. I like the soulmate bond. Otherwise, it's artificial. I kind of felt a bit weird. Sorry, I kind of felt a bit weird, like saying that to him, a bit artificial, but I think it's true, I'm spilling water. I think, I think if someone's only connecting with you like every few months, yes, I have a bond with him. Yes, I'll always be friends with him if he's on Facebook. But it's like he went off Facebook for ages, and I was actually a bit worried about him, and then he turned around and said to me, I've been off here for a while. I've been thinking about you and missing you mostly. And I'm like, if you're one of those type of guys that misses me more when I'm not in your life, then that's fine. But I'm not that type of girl. Some people, I was quite shocked because I know an asexual friend, right? And he was like, he's totally in love with his girls, or he's been like in love with her for a long, long time. And then he's like, I said, haven't you spoke to her since this whole thing happened and you can't work with her anymore? This global thing going on in June 2020. The V thing. And he was like, oh no, my heart grows fonder for her when I don't see her and speak to her. Like when I go back, I'm like, I don't understand that. Personally, I don't understand it. But obviously some people are like that. But I'm like, I told this guy straight, he's my friend. I said to him, that's not the type of relationship I want. I don't know if I can read any out because I don't want to get too personal, but I don't know if I can read any of it out. Obviously I won't read anything he said because that's not fair, and I don't usually read the stuff out, but as it's to do with me, it went on for some time. So I said, if I was honest with you, sometimes it crosses my mind about you and me and a romantic relationship, but I know we wouldn't be suitable for a romantic relationship as it stands. You have clearly said to me in public, only on my Facebook profile in a comment, that you don't believe in soulmates and want to be single and freeing that way. You don't care that the only way we keep in contact is through Facebook. If Facebook went down for some reason, that would be it. Someone who genuinely loves me in a romantic way would not want that to be the only way to contact me. They would also make specific times to video chat with me and be in my life almost daily. I don't know your secrets. I don't know your true soul, and you don't want me to. Or you don't feel it's necessary. So I could never be emotionally close enough to you to be in a relationship with you. It wouldn't be enough for me. Because I remember having a conversation. He's like, oh, it's enough. And I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of dictating what's enough. Sam, that's odd, laugh out loud. If I had stronger feelings for someone, I'd want to stay in touch. Exactly, Sam. I don't understand that myself. I don't understand. I like contact daily, usually if in a relationship. I have really, really close friendships, and my two closest asexual friends are in my life almost daily, and we spend a lot of time together, even virtually. I would not be happy with a guy in a relationship who also didn't want this. I do have one female best friend who doesn't speak to me that much, and yes, she loves me as a best friend. We don't talk that much or message that much. She's not asexual, but my two other best friends who are asexual satisfy My friendship needs a lot more, and I am taken care of by them always. We are a solid unit. Oh, I'm like thinking, oh, this is so sweet as I'm saying it, even though I wrote it. I know I can rely on them to always be there for me and me them. We are rock solid and share all our secrets and are super close. So a potential romantic partner has a lot to live up to. I'm glad I read this out now. I want no less in a romantic relationship, or else those friends or oh right, one of those friends I Skyped with for 15 hours the other day. I was on the phone for 7 hours to the other one. Obviously I have my work to do, so I have to schedule these things in. I know when I was in a relationship briefly with that British guy, the words you wrote to me were not that of just friendship. I mean far more to you. I need a guy who would be as romantically, emotionally, physically, intelligently, and time investing in a relationship with me as him. I don't want to be with a guy who is only messing me. I meant messaging. I did put in the next bit messaging me once in a while. That is not good enough for me, and it won't make me feel good. I realise we're only friends, but I think if you were over here, you might think differently, which isn't likely to happen. But even if you were, as things stand, you couldn't match my needs. I need a deeper, romantic soulmate relationship that you would ever be prepared to give me. Or maybe you're not even capable of this. Super connected on a daily basis relationship by a guy who needs this like drinking water also. It's natural for him to want to see and speak to me as much as possible each day while having his own life. But he always fits me in, even if it's just on messaging. But you don't want this. You are quite happy just to message me once in a while when you like. And I have no other way to get in contact with you, which is fine as friends, although if Facebook goes down, that would be the end of that. One day, I guess you will marry an Indian girl, and I hope to hear about that. I will be happy that you will be happy, and you deserve someone over there to cuddle you, be with you, and give you the type of relationship you want. I will be your biggest cheerleader. Yes, sometimes I think you should be with me in my fairy tale, especially with the current situation, as life is so very short, and that makes me think about it more. But like I say, you couldn't match my relationship needs anyway. I want a different type of relationship to you. I want a guy who wants to be in my life daily, who introduces me to his family and cherishes every day with me, who opens his mind, life, heart, secrets, and soul to me, which you don't do that much and don't seem to like this type of relationship. It's okay for you not to have this. I have this with my bestest asexual friends. I want and deserve no less from a romantic guy life partner. So I'm glad I know you are not right for me to be in a relationship with. Just good friends who are a bit close in heart. It makes things more easy and simple. Your heart seems to grow fonder with distance in speech and physicality. This is not how I work, and it's not satisfying enough. It's too superficial in terms of romantic love. It's okay for friends. It's not deep enough. I hope one day I find my Indian soulmate, and sometimes it makes me sad and cry that it can't be you. Sorry, I don't want to get upset. And that I haven't, oh my God, I'm going to get upset now. Sorry, I get really upset. And that I haven't found him. I'm going to get really upset. Sorry. Oh man, I don't think I can read anymore. I can't read anymore, I don't think. I get really upset. Oh man. Crying over a soulmate I haven't actually met. That's great. But I guess it's because I got a bit sad about this guy. I wasn't expecting to cry. Sorry, folks. You know what I'm like, very emotional. Oh, I get really upset. Oh, man. Yeah. A power of life. Hey, yeah. So I got, it was hard for me to say this to him because we've known each other years. But I said, I want far more in relationship terms, so I hope my Indian soulmate shows up one day, the one who is my soulmate, who believes in soulmates and who wants exactly the same type of relationship as me and will be super close to me in all ways. I don't think I will be happy in a relationship with a guy who isn't Indian long term. By that I mean a long term relationship with an Indian guy. I won't be happy long term. Yeah, I love Indian guys so much, and picture me with one. not having sex, obviously, but cuddling, having intelligent conversations, and him wanting to just be with me. No other girl in a relationship, and 100% honest with me at all times, can tell me anything and everything, and does that too regularly. Talk to me, smile with me, love kissing me, and have a super connected, deep, emotionally love relationship. He won't need kids or marriage, just me and him. I know he's out there. I feel him every day of my life. He has his life together. He is independent, but he wants a good girl life partner and feels there isn't anyone for him. But he is not like other guys. He is sensitive, kind, caring, even has some feminine traits, sweet traits, and would be totally dedicated to his girl and not interested in other women. And his eyes would light up even every time he saw me. He would love all the love I have for him and would always be very grateful and thankful and appreciative of me. Because he would know that I love the love I have from him is very, because he would know that the love I have for him is very rare, and he's waited for me his whole life, and he totally adores me and loves me. I can feel him, his mind. He is a little sad he doesn't have me yet. He thinks there is no one for him because he's so very different. But there is. I'm here. Our paths just need to cross and stay together always. One day this will happen. Until then, I stay single forever. Go out, dance, and kiss different guys I want when we're able to safely do so. God, sorry, I get really upset reading this. I don't usually read this out. And, oh man. That's the trouble. When I start crying, I can't stop. So I said, until then, I stay single forever. Go out, dance, and kiss different guys I want when we are able to safely do so, and I'm not tied to any guy. I have relationship anxiety, so it's actually hard for me to be in a relationship with any guy. And I said, if you have any more questions, please let me know, because he was asking me a question, which was because I was talking about there isn't any guys suitable for me. And he said, could you elaborate? You wrote, I meant we aren't suitable, that one. But I said that basically that so the we aren't not suitable was a correction from the sentence. I had some Indian guys interested in me as usual, but we are suitable. These Indian guys aren't strong enough for me. They're hiding about their asexuality because of their family culture, and many won't admit they like an older woman publicly either. I'm very public about my asexuality, and I need a strong guy in this way. Someone is proud to have his photo taken with me and upload it to Facebook. Someone who is okay about me talking about him on my channel. I won't stop the work I do for asexuals, and I share my own asexual life journey on my channel in order to help others. I need a guy who will support me in my career. I need someone who will be in regular contact with me, my bestest ever friend, and who will also not be afraid to say he is asexual. There are some asexual Indian guys who are out about being asexual. I also need a guy who loves kissing for very long periods of time and public displays of affection whenever we are together, but also someone who has deep and intelligent conversations with me and shares all these secrets with me, and someone in the UK, not someone in India who can't get a visa and who's no intention of ever really coming here. So, yeah. So that's when it started saying, I also think about me and you. If I am honest, sometimes it crosses my mind, and so you know the rest. But yeah, so it does I get really upset. So that's a guy I've known for a very long time. Very long time. So it's kind of, he knows I'm asexual. I have actually met 3 of his friends on Skype, and he's actually met, not Skype because we're not connected on Skype, sorry, Facebook video chat, and he's met my parents on Facebook video chat. So he's actually met my parents, and I've actually met 3 of his friends. He usually phones me every Christmas or New Year, and he sent me a Valentine message actually. So he remembered that. He came on specially to send me a Valentine message, but which was nice. You know, I didn't expect it, but I think he forgot my birthday actually, which he doesn't usually forget. So yeah, you know, I do like him, I do care about him, but at the end of the day, he's not the right guy for me, not to be in a relationship with. You know, I can't be dealing with these guys who just like message you once every few weeks, or you know, like every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whenever it was. I mean, he was off Facebook for quite some time, for like 20 days or so, about 3 weeks or something. I never heard from him. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you know, it is difficult, you know. it's difficult when I honestly feel the soulmate all the time, but you know, Indian guy, I don't know how I know it, I just do. So it's just strange. Maybe I knew him from a previous life or something, I don't know. But you know, it's kind of weird. I feel that he's out there and he's really got his life together, but he's a little bit sad. And then if I came along, it'd be like, yay, that's my girl. And he'd be so happy to be publicly with me because he'd be like, I waited for her for ages. God, I'm not gonna let anyone like get in my way. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was quite emotional for me. I don't usually read any conversation. I don't think that's the first conversation I've ever read about me and my friend, because I don't usually talk about him very much. I used to talk about him some nights, but not like that, you know. But you know, and I haven't heard from him since. You know what I mean? That's fine. So you know, I hope he gets. He's not, as far as I know, he hasn't had a girlfriend, and he's in his late 20s now. I think I knew him when I think he's, how old is he? Is he or is he towards? He's going towards 30. I know that he's in the late 20s, 28 or 29, I think he is. And I've known him since about 24. I think he was when I first met him, something like that. So I think I've known him for about 4 years. So yeah, a long time, you know. So you know, I just know that it is difficult. I think relationships are difficult. I think feelings and emotions are difficult. I think things are hard, but you know, like any relationship's hard as well because everyone's got feelings and emotions involved. But you know, I think if you're romantic, I think it is harder if you really want a relationship. I think it becomes more difficult with the added element of, you know, really kind of wanting to be a relationship. But you know, I don't see, oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I don't see me being in a relationship anytime soon because unless the right guy comes into my life, there's no point, you know. And sadly, a lot of the guys I meet at clubs, you know, they're all sexual. They're just after sex, and I know that. But there's got to be some good guys that go to clubs. There was one guy actually who was a bit older last time that I danced. I think he was with his friends. Well, friend, I think. I remember it was one or two friends, but he was a guy who couldn't even keep up with me. He was like going like this after about 2 dances. He was older. I say older, but I still, you know, I don't know how old he was in his late 20s or early 30s, but I mean, you know, he wasn't Indian. The last guy I danced with was Indian, but like I said, I was 5 minutes dancing with him, and it was like, you know, oh, I'll pay for a taxi to go back to yours. It's like, I don't like sex. I don't like sex. No, sure you don't. That's why you want to jump in a taxi to come to my bed. You know, it's like, I want to sleep on my own. Thanks very much. You know, so I just think, you know, it's difficult. I think it's harder out there to find a quality person because obviously the places that you're more likely to find someone good quality are business seminars, workshops, you know, hobby interest groups, for example, meetup.com, that type of thing, you know, where you have things in common, you know, and share mutual interests. But then I find a lot of those type of groups, people aren't really looking for a relationship or dating. A lot of them do actually like their single life, you know, they're not specifically looking for a relationship. And they're kind of, some of them are already in relationships. They just do it as an outside activity, you know? So it's kind of hard because obviously, like, clubs are not really the great thing. I think if you're sexual, you can find someone there sometimes that, you know, as long as you fulfill their sexual appetite, then, you know, you can probably have a relationship with some of the guys there. Because I know some sexual people who've met their partner through clubs, you know what I mean? But in general, it's not the best place to meet them. But I love dancing. You know, I love dancing, kissing. So while I'm still young, free, and single, I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that I could go dancing and snog people, different guys. But you know, it'd be nice to just have one Indian guy, really. But I just have to wait and be patient. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it does, it's good. But I now have a soulmate. He's somewhere, so I hope he's okay. I guess he can take care of himself, so I don't need to worry. But yeah, so I think anything's difficult. I think, you know, like even crushes can be hard for some people if they really have them for a very, very long time, you know, because it's kind of like, oh, I really want to see that person or something, you know. But obviously, for someone like me who doesn't experience any platonic attraction, who kind of gets more easily attached or more easily emotional feelings for someone, I think it's like really, really hard. You know, like I said, those feelings don't go away. You know, they can just be reignited just by the person coming back into my life, which is why I can't just be friends with a lot of people. Like, I could have loads of guys potentially as friends, but I know when a guy says they want to be your friend, the majority of them, particularly if they're sexual, usually don't want to be just your friend. They're always attracted to you. Do you know what I mean? So, for example, on mingle2.com, with the guys that are on there, that it's not an asexual dating site. It's predominantly got tons of sexuals all over it. You know, some of those guys were like, oh, right, okay, well, like, yeah, I'm in another country and you're looking for someone, but we can be friends. And, I get this all the time. It's like, no, I'm really want to dedicate my time on the dating site to find my soulmate. Oh, well, I don't say that. I say find a relationship. Because, I don't want to give I've got to be careful what I say to sexuals, because if they start saying about soulmate and I don't know them, then they'll just latch onto that and try and use it against me. Oh, I'm your soulmate. No. So you got to be very careful. A lot of these people you have to cut off from, because the thing is that if you're busy with all these people that are not the right person for you, the right person can't come along. Sam, it's difficult having lots of crushes when you genuinely want a relationship as well. And I want a relationship, just not until I have gotten to know someone, but I have loads of crushes often. Yeah, I was really interested, Sam, when me and you spoke about crushes, because I haven't really talked to you about that before. And I thought it was very, very, I didn't realise how difficult it was having crushes. I think that's important to reiterate that it's not easy. Especially when you genuine a relationship as well. I know me and you find it very difficult. Like, Sam's a really, really, really good person who deserves an amazing relationship. They are very serious about a relationship, just like I am. But neither of us can find a good guy for us. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It really, really is. Like, where are all the good asexual guys out there that are actually very intelligent and want a relationship with either Sam or me? But yeah, so depending on their whether they're hetero or not, strictly, because I'm strictly hetero, so they'd have to be strictly hetero, a guy, if they're interested in me, obviously. Well, they could be bi-romantic, actually, or pan-romantic. They don't have to be strictly hetero, so that's not true. But you know what I'm saying? What I meant to say is exactly that. Sam, I need to join Starfleet. Maybe find my future partner is out in the galaxy somewhere. I think you might find them at a Star Trek convention, Sam. I was thinking that, a Comic Con or something. I know someone who was at my old job, and I met their friend once, and their friend got married to someone they met at a Comic Con. And I also have someone I was connected on Facebook. I'm not sure if they are. She was an actress, and then she ended up being in a relationship with a guy who was very similar to her. They were both. She's a comedy actress, which is kind of not well known. Not that many women, as you know, are, but she's on the comedy scene. And her and her friend used to do it together, I think. And they used to put mustaches on and all sorts of stuff, dress as guys and stuff, and kind of crazy. And she got with this guy that's like really perfect for her, and kind of like he was as crazy as she was, and made up all these names, and they just look really good together, So yeah, so I think it's important to like go to places where these people might be. For me, I'm up against Indian culture, So it's all very well me liking Indian guys, but their culture is very, very different to mine, and to mine personally. And I do live a very unconventional life that most people would not just fit into that life. That's why I like to live separately, because I know I'm not really intruding on their life. They're not really intruding on mine that much, because if they want to go to bed at 10:30, then they can go back to their home and go to bed at 10:30 if they live just around the corner from me, and get out for work the next day or whatever they want to do. Whereas with me, I'm up till 2. Well, usually I'm up till 4 in the morning, because I work from home currently. If I was working for an employer, probably I'd be up till 2 in the morning or something. I haven't been known to be up till 4, but then I only got 3 hours sleep and I was very, very tired. But personally, I prefer to go sleep at 4 and get up at midday. It just suits me better, I just love that type of life. I love working the night and sleeping in the day. So, there's lots of things to take into consideration when you're thinking about getting into a relationship, I've had one guy, oh, Sam, yeah, I want to go to more conventions now. I have been to one, and there are Star Trek meetups in London I will attend when it starts up again. I don't sleep at convention times either. Yeah, me and you, Sam, our life is quite good, isn't it? Together, like, we are awesome best friends, and also our lifestyles are very, very similar in lots of ways in that way. You know, it's really good because sometimes in the night we're both doing work, and it's like, how's your work going? And it's like, I've done this, and I'm like, I've done that, and it's just like, I feel that's very momentum driving. You know, it's kind of like you feel someone else is working with you at the same time doing their own thing. It's very, I don't know, I think it's very momentum building, very like motivational, very like push, you know, like kind of like move it along, you know? So I think it's really good. I really like that about me and you and our friendship. It's really cool. I like loads of things about our friendship, obviously. You're amazing best friend. Amazing best friend. Yes. And so, Jeremy, I feel like a guy likes me. She talks to me for 4 hours straight, but I don't want to confuse the signs. Well, Jeremy, I don't have any context of that. If you can write the context of it, like, is that on the phone or is that in person? What type of, if she's asexual, lacks sexual attraction, what type of asexual is she? How long have you known each other? All these type of things. Like, just a message like that, I wouldn't know. I obviously say she likes you, but it could just be as a really close friend. Because me and my best friend Sam, we like Skype together for up to 15 hours. Jeremy, she bites her lip a lot and she laughs at every joke I make. We make YouTube videos together. She's straight. We meet a month ago. I would say the signs are there that she likes you more than a friend. If she's straight, because sexual people usually tend to like do that type of thing when they have feelings for you. Like, if it's an asexual person, it's kind of different. I've had to get used to that. I've had to get used to someone like phoning or Skyping or having a conversation with me for hours and not experiencing any romantic feelings towards me. But if she's straight and she's a romantic person, I would say she definitely probably likes you more than a friend. She wants to do a stream with me tomorrow, but I don't know if it's beyond friendship. Well, just ask the person. Just ask them straight outright. Say, oh, do you like me as a friend or more? Because then you haven't said anything about how you feel about them. You're asking them how they feel about you. So just straight up ask them. Like, we have a great chemistry. So yeah, you probably, I mean, it's just from the little bit you said to me, it's probably that she has some feelings for you, I would say, especially if she's heterosexual, which I think is what you're saying that she is. But I mean, you can have asexual chemistry as well. But yeah, I would say there's definitely some feelings there, whether it's romantic or sexual in nature. I don't know, or both. But I'd say if she's a person who's straight and she's not an aromantic sexual person, so you can get aromantic asexuals, those that lack romantic attraction, sexual attraction. You can also get aromantic sexuals, those that lack romantic attraction but still sexually attracted. So, you know, if someone's, for example, sexual but aromantic, they don't usually tend to have romantic feelings, but they're still interested in sex. What does lip biting mean? Well, if it's an asexual person, you're probably just biting your lips. Like, I need some water. But if it's, yeah, I think lip biting is supposed to be like, it depends. Licking lips is supposed to be sexual. Is it nerves or is it sexual? It depends. I mean, I can't do a full analysis on little information. But, you know, like licking your lips, for example, is a sexual thing. It depends. She might be sexually attracted to you and biting, like Eddie. Yeah, both. Exactly. It's very hard to tell. It's better to just ask the person outright, like, how do you feel about me? How do you feel about us? Do you like me as a friend or more than a friend? Just ask them outright. I think keep life very, very simple. If you think someone has feelings for you, just ask them outright. Obviously, if you don't reciprocate those feelings, then she's going to be probably disappointed. But if you have feelings back for her, then everything's going to be awesome if she says she has feelings for you. She texted me after our stream. Okay, I'll do that. Do her eyes light up as she bites her lip? Or is she looking down at the ground? That type of thing. If she's biting her lip and looking down at the ground, then there might be something else that she's not quite sure about what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff to body language. It's better to have context to it and stuff. But yeah, just ask them outright, like, how do you feel about me? Do you like me just as a friend or more? It's a very simple question. It just cuts to the chase. I always believe in keeping things very, very simple in life. Therefore, if she doesn't, you can move on with your emotions and she can move on with hers. Doesn't mean to say you have to move on and not speak to each other or not be friends or whatever. But you know what I mean? If she says, oh no, I'm just like you as a friend, like that, then you know that she just likes you as a friend. If she starts smiling and goes all coy and doesn't really want to say, it's highly likely she has feelings for you more than friendship, because otherwise you just say, no, I just like you as a friend. People who just tend to like someone as a friend are normally just like, no, I just like you as a friend. And they normally say it outright like that, you know, because they're normally startled that you like them more than that. And they'll be like, no, I just like you as a friend. Do you know what I mean? Or they'll, you know, like, a lot of the time. Obviously, some of them might just be trying to be really kind and like, well, I really just like you as a friend. But you know what I mean? But yes, ask them outright. It's much better. I just literally cut to the chase. Life is too short, people. Life is too short. And it's one of the best ways of asking the question. How do you know, do you just feel friendship for me, or do you feel more than friendship? Do you know what I mean? Just have the conversation, because until you know, you can't move on. And you don't hanker after someone who's not interested in you that way. Of course, it could develop, though. They could develop later on to be more, in which case it really means that the person should be open and honest and just say it. Like, if I have feelings for someone, I just say it outright. If they don't like me back, that's fine. It's like, okay, moving on. Romantically, at least, you know? And that's the way it is. Do you know what I mean? I cut to the chase. Most of the people I have feelings for just like me as a friend, because I have feelings for all my friends, don't I? Because I just, like I said on this video, I'm a hyper romantic. I don't experience any platonic attraction. So I don't expect most people to like me back other than a friend. It'd be nice sometimes if one of them did, but I don't expect it. Do you know what I mean? I'm used to it. I'm kind of used to being rejected. Actually, if a guy takes interest in me and be in a relationship with me, it kind of scares me these days. I'm like, really? Okay, where's the door? I'm out of here. I didn't expect that. But that's because usually it's a guy that's come along very quickly in my life and decides that he wants to say that. And I'm thinking, you're talking rubbish. You don't even know me, even though I'm a nice person. And it's nice to get to know me. You don't know me. They're just talking rubbish. Eddie, I removed a bulk of girls that gave me that just pulsing. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's you know, I personally do. I mean, like with a lot of the guys, you know, that say they're not interested in a relationship with me, for example, on dating sites, I just move on most of the time. You know, I don't want to be friends with someone who, you know, if I'm interested in romantically. But obviously there are exceptions to that. I mean, me and my best friend Andy, which is me and Sam's other best friend, I met them from an asexual dating site originally, but we're not suitable to be in a romantic relationship together. So we're still best friends though. Do you know what I mean? So we have a really close friendship, but so there are exceptions to the rule where I don't just cut someone off. Never my loss. Yeah, exactly, Eddie. But the majority of people, there's someone I've just started talking to recently. I actually said that they'd probably be more suited to my friend than me. They have more in common than with one of my friends. And they did say they're looking to date someone really around their birth certificate age, which I'm not around their birth certificate age. So I said I respect that, and I won't pursue a romantic relationship with you then in that case. But luckily they're a cartoon. So that's a bit easier. Like, they've got a cartoon picture of themselves. I mean, it's quite a nice looking cartoon picture of themselves, but it does help having a cartoon picture of themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like a caricature rather than them themselves. But, you know, they are foreign in the UK. They've been here since 2018 and they've got British citizenship. I'm like, oh, damn it. But, but it is what it is, But I do actually think I'll probably stay friends with them. They seem quite a nice person to talk to. And probably I'll have some feelings for them at some point if I haven't got them already, you know what I mean? A little bit. But they made it perfectly clear from the first email that they only want to be my friend. So that's helped me loads, But they seem like an interesting person to talk to. So I think I'll stay probably friends with them, or at least for a while, because I think they are more suited to my other friend than me romantically, probably in some ways. Because they got more in common as well. Then they live nearer them. But yeah, usually guys I've been interested in a relationship with who are not suitable, I just block them, the majority of them in the end. Not all of them, but a majority of them. Because I just like, there's no point. And I always know that if you're hankering after the wrong person, the right one won't come along. So if you've got the wrong person that's constantly in your life, and especially if they do instigate feelings all the time for you, you can't really move on because your heart's still pining for another what if all the time. So it's actually better the majority of the time to break free of that type of thing and to say no more, especially if they don't really speak to you anyway, or they've got no contact for a while and you don't, you're not really that close to them as a friend anyway. You haven't really lost anything, have you? Like the best thing to do is to find out if someone's suitable for you, has feelings for you early on, because then you kind of like know where you stand, and then you can move on to someone else if they're not suitable for you. Like, unfortunately, dating and relationship, it's like a numbers game. It's like you have to like tick people off that are wrong for you. Like, usually we like tick off lists of things that are good. We've done things, but you kind of have to like cross people out. Like, that person's no good, that person's no good, that person's no good, that person's no good, to eventually get the right person for you. But it does take some time, I don't see me settling down in a relationship for a very long time. I don't see the right guy turning up for quite some time, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, I say I'm okay, but I was crying earlier. We'll forget about that, shall we? But no, I say I'm okay. But like, I find it really difficult sometimes, because like part of me like really loves being single, because I've trained myself to be single. So I absolutely love being single. I love my single life so much. I love my independence. I love being able to do what I want when I want, coming in where I want, go out when I want, like switch off from social media sometimes if I need to. I just love having my own life, doing my own thing, not be answered to anyone. Do you know what I mean? Obviously I keep in touch with my friends, but like, they're my friends. But you know what I mean? I'm not answerable to a boyfriend, in other words. You know what I mean? I don't have to phone them at a specific time, or obviously, I arrange to speak to my friends at specific times. But you know what I mean? It's like, sometimes I have guys who come into my life and they're like, oh, you can phone me then, or you can message me then, and telling me what to do. I hate that. It's like, don't tell me what to do. Like, it's just, it's different when you ask or you arrange something. It's very different to telling me what to do. So, so I don't like that. I like a caring relationship and friendship, not one that a guy that dictates to me. It's not nice. Eddie, I ran over 1,000 what if scenarios from 1997 to 2014. Wow, that's a long time, Eddie. Yeah, and it does get what if, doesn't it? I try and cut out as many of those type of what ifs as possible out of my life. But it's difficult. I think the most difficult thing about that is whoever you get into a relationship with should be a best friend to you. So it should technically be someone you are a friend with already. Which then obviously my mind's very analytical. It's like, okay, which friend would that possibly be? I mean, I'm very black and white thinking. Okay, so I can't really be in a relationship with a stranger, so it's got to be someone I'm really good friends with. But the only two best friends I have, neither of them are suitable for me, and so it's like, that's out the door. So it's kind of like, I haven't met this person yet. They're not in my life yet, clearly. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't have any other really close friends. There was one guy I used to be quite close to, but then he made it clear he doesn't like me romantically. So that was, we're still friends on Facebook. We don't talk that much though. So you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's kind of like it's difficult because, you know, eventually there's going to probably be a what if scenario with someone because they're going to be your friend, presumably first, before you get into a relationship with them. That's why I guess like not being friends with someone first is it's not good. I found out it's not good. But in theory of the what if scenarios, it stops you thinking what if every 5 minutes of the day. But you know, you need to be really good friends with someone. They should be your best friend. They should be someone you want in your life daily and want to be in contact with. But obviously, you've got to like them physically and want to, you know, kiss and cuddle them, which some people just don't want to do with their friends, which I wouldn't do with my friends. But you know what I mean? So I think it's a very difficult case when you know that you need to be with a best friend in relationships. Therefore, you need to get someone who's going to be a friend to you that isn't already, if none of your best friends are suitable for a relationship. Do you understand what I mean? That's the very, you know, so I, you know, so and that best friendship takes a long time to build up. It's not something that just comes overnight. So you've really got to become really good close friends with someone uh you know, at some point that you're going to have a relationship with. But you know, that's why I know that I haven't met the person yet, and I think it'll be a long time because I can't just jump into a relationship with someone. Really need to know them for about a year first, ideally, at least 2 year 18 months, 2 years. Do you know what I mean? And clearly that Indian guy I told you is my friend on Facebook, I've known him for years, but clearly he's in India, he's not suitable for me anyway, so he's out the door now in terms of potential relationship. He's never really been totally in it anyway, but do you know what I mean? So I think that's the difficulty is that when you know that you've got to be friends with someone first, it's kind of like, well, who's going to appear in my future then for me to be friends with? And just because you're friends with someone doesn't mean to say they're going to be right for you to be in a romantic relationship with or other either. So it gets quite complicated, I think. But yeah, it's like I try to like cut, you know, like cut down the amount of what ifs. Like I just like I tend not to be friends with a lot of people who are guys. I mean, I prefer to be friends with guys than females overall because I get on better with guys overall. I've got one female best friend though. She's amazing. I would never be without her in my life, but she's got some male traits which I really like. And she's got a partner who, you know, they're not asexual, either of them. And so, you know, so I do have a female best friend, and I don't, you know, dislike all women. You know, I have some online female friends, but in general, all the people I talk to, the majority of the time, are guys, and I get on better with guys than women in general. I've always been that way, and you know, it's kind of like that. That's why I can't be that close friends with many guys because I'm hyper romantic and I get feelings for them really quickly, and that becomes difficult. Sometimes it becomes too painful to be friends with someone. I just have to cut off from them because my hyper romanticism is too much. You know, obviously, if I have an attraction for them that isn't romantic, that's easier for me because it's like, well, it's not romantic. I don't need to be in a relationship with you. For example, aesthetic, I don't need to be in a relationship with you because I'm just aesthetically attracted to you. I'm not like wanting to kiss you, for example. That would be gross. Do you know what I mean? Gross because I see you as my friend. Do you know what I mean? But I think when you have romantic feelings for someone who's your friend and they don't go away, I think that's a really, really dangerous and very difficult situation to be in, you know, because it's kind of like they don't really go away, especially in my case. Do you know what I mean? Like, it means you're constantly having feelings for someone who's your friend. But obviously, when I get a guy in a relationship, that will fade away. A lot of that might not totally go away, I guess, because I'm hyper romantic, but it'll fade, and my attention will be on my romantic attention will be on the person that I'm in a relationship with. Or I'll still be friends with the other personal people. Do you know what I mean? Because, like I said, I have feelings for all my friends. It's not their fault. It's just the way it is. Um, but you know, it's a very difficult scenario when you are hyper romantic. I find it too painful a lot of the time to just be friends with guys. I get guys all the time saying, "Oh, well, we can just be friends then," and it's like, well, no. One is I don't have time to be talking to every single person online anyway. I mean, I just don't have the time. Um, so you know, and it's just too emotionally upsetting. You've seen how I got over that Indian guy who I've been friends with online for a very long time. You saw how upset I got over him and my Indian soulmate I haven't met yet. You can imagine if I had like 20 guys that I was really close to, or Indian guys who I had feelings for. You can imagine how heartbreaking it would be for me. Do you know what I mean? So you know, I have to keep my distance a lot of the time. I can't have that many close guy friends, even though I prefer to be friends with guys, you know, because it's just too upsetting for me. and I don't need the upset because then I can't do any work. You know what I mean? And I can't get on with my life. So I think, you know, crushes, squishes, romantic feelings, I think all of them can be difficult in and of their own right, you know, in all different ways. And I just think you have to like work out what's best for you and how you're made up, you know. Like I don't experience crushes or squishes myself. I only experience multiple attractions but not sexual or platonic, which makes life very interesting. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave the stream there because I think we've had enough chat for tonight. If there's anything else you want to discuss before I go, put it in the chat now. But I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's taken part tonight. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks to whoever's given it a thumbs up already. I really, really appreciate you. If you've got anything in the comments that you want to post in the meantime after this video's finished processing and on my site after the stream, just put them down below in the comments. I want to say thanks to Liam very much for tuning in tonight. I really love you lots as an awesome viewer and a very sweet, kind person. Love you, Sam, as my best friend. Love you, Eddie, as an awesome, awesome viewer and ally to Asexuals. And lots of love to everyone else who's watched today. Oh, Marcelo, lots of love to you. Nice to see you again on this channel. And lots of love, Jeremy. You're welcome here. And anyway, take care. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live. I now post a new video. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye, Sam. Bye, Eddie. Bye, everyone else. Lots of love, Liam. Bye. Bye, Jeremy. Bye. Lots of love to everyone. Bye.